Good afternoon. We have Dr. Arron Carter here from the University of Washington, here to discuss the partnership with the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Tell us about this partnership.
Well, the partnership came from a USDA grant that was funded to the wheat and barley communities, mainly for plant breeding and increasing variation in wheat and barley. And as part of that, it's a $25 million 5-year grant. And about 30% of that money goes towards education components, so training students to be plant breeders, doing some online training, some courses. But part of that also is to fund some underrepresented students to bring them into the plant breeding discipline as well, mainly minorities and women into the plant sciences. So as part of that, a call went out to different universities, UAPB being an MSI university. They were on the list, and 2 professors responded to that call, Dr. Matute, who works in nematology, and then Dr. Onilaga, who also works in some research in heat and drought. And they contacted myself. I'm at Washington State University with Dr. Matute, and we're working on some nematode resistance in wheat. I do the plant breeding side of it, and Dr. Matute helps with the identification of the nematodes. And then Dr. Onilaga, he works with Dr. Luther Talbert up at Montana State University, looking at drought and heat-resistant lines in wheat and trying to identify some compounds in those lines to see if he can identify compounds that help those lines become more drought or heat resistant.
So in essence, how will that affect, I guess, agriculture or plant sciences for the greater community?
All right, so it'll help mainly to help develop better wheat and barley varieties. You know, we know the environment's changing, and you've seen this spring, it's so erratic sometimes, so it'll help a lot on the physiological side with the heat and drought resistance, but then also some of those changes in the environment are changing the pest structures that we see. We're starting to see a lot more nematodes. We're starting to understand nematodes more, understanding they're causing a big problem, especially up in Washington, where I'm from. So having that expertise will help us develop better varieties for the farming community.
And you talked about the benefit to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff students. Tell us about the students that have gone thus far in this first cohort.
Right, so we had 4 students that went up and worked with us over the summer. You know, mainly just to give them an experience outside of UAPB, show them that there's, you know, life outside of Arkansas, and you know, kind of expose them to a different set of research parameters, WSU being more of a research-oriented land grant institution. We were able to get them up there, and they worked with me and 3 other colleagues. So there were 4 of us total that each took an intern, and they kind of worked with our technicians and some other graduate students on specific projects. Just kind of get a feel for what was out there, experience them to the plant sciences, and it actually ended up that one of them, a very excellent student, very well trained in the biological sciences. She had been thinking about going to graduate school. We were able to secure some funding for her, invite her to come to graduate school, and right now she's in our PhD program in plant breeding and the plant sciences. So it was a good opportunity all around. You know, we got some good students up and some good research done over the summer, and we got a good student, and UAPB has been able to get a little bit of exposure. This internship program really became the model for the grant entirely. At our last annual meeting, I presented on this, and pretty much the coordinator for the education program stood up and said, this is how you need to, you know, pointing to everybody else, this is how you need to run your program. So, you know, within at least the wheat and barley community, everyone knows who UAPB is now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for reaching out to the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Kudos to Dr. Onilaga, to Dr. Matute, the Department of Biology. You're watching UAPB TV.